It's still the Warriors. You're facing the
So
Warriors. You got to beat the Warriors, one of the greatest basketball teams of all time.
if you're Kevin Durant and let's say you don't play in the finals or maybe you play late, but the series is over when you're healthy and Toronto wins, do you take that player option and come back?
No.
Because if you win, you can kind of say, well, they couldn't win without me.
Repeat that one more time.
So, like, do you take that player option and come back, and then you can say, because, the narrative is he takes, the easy road, these rings don't count, you can say, well, they couldn't win without me. They lost twice without me, and they've won twice with me, or 3 times with me.
Well, I guess it depends if he comes back or not. I mean, how effective he is when he comes back. I don't know. I think he's set on leaving anyway.
Yeah. I wonder, but I think he's set on leaving because of the whole narrative that these rings don't count.
He got his one ring. He got his one ring. I think he wanted the one ring. And now he's like, he still wants to prove that he can do it without the super team.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's probably going to go, but I think it'd be interesting if they lose in the finals. It'd be interesting because he could think about, I mean, if they lost in 16 and they lose this year and they won, both times with Kevin Durant, then you can kind of argue, yeah, maybe Kevin Durant, he does deserve those, and that wasn't the easiest thing ever.
So that's what he's on? He's on a player option right now?
Yeah, he's got a player option for next year.
Is
the thing is, he took a pay cut, so if he goes to the Knicks or somewhere else, what I think he'll do, and I've actually been looking at like a bunch of NBA contracts and different things with the cap. What I think he'll do is he'll probably sign another 2-1, maybe a 3-year deal, and he'll try to get his bird rights with the team, and then he's going to sign for a supermax because I think he wants his money.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's a 10-year vet, so he gets the 35% of the cap. That ridiculous number.
If he gets another 3 years, I don't think he's getting a supermax anywhere.
He'll get a supermax.
I don't know. That's old. That's old.
He'll 100% get a supermax for like a crappy organization like the Knicks.
Well, the Knicks are already going to give him a supermax. I think he's going to take the supermax.
He's 30 right now, so
33.
In 3 years he will.
33.
Yeah, but I'm saying you give LeBron James a supermax. Kevin Durant's 1 year younger. At
LeBron James also a nominally that didn't seem like he ever was going to slow down, and then I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
and now you got this situation with the Lakers. You're like, do we regret this? What are we doing now? Speaking of the Lakers and a supermax player, Chris Paul, he's definitely going to be a Laker. They're definitely going to trade for Chris Paul, and really, they're going to mess all this up. They're going to make it even worse.
They're not going to trade for Chris Paul.
I don't know where Chris Paul's going to go. I know that Chris Paul's... Are you done with the finals? Let's talk about Chris Paul if you're done with the finals.
Yeah, I'm done with the finals.
Let's talk about Chris Paul.
Who's trading for Chris Paul?
That's the thing.
The Lakers aren't. No.
The Rockets are going to have to... They're going to blow... They don't want Chris Paul. They know they can't win with Chris Paul in that contract. They're going to have to give away, first-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with Chris Paul, but I could see the Lakers and the dysfunction that's going on right now, they would take Chris Paul. I think they would give players away to get Chris Paul. Because LeBron really loves Chris Paul as
a
friend. And I don't... The Rockets have to give players away to get him. But I think the Lakers are so disorganized and so dysfunctional, they would mess up that deal. I could see them jumping on that deal.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this is just such an albatross of a salary. The real problem is it's hard to trade him because so you would have to use a trade exception, but the way trade exceptions work is let's say you trade one player for $15 million and you only take back $1 million. Well, you have a $14 million trade exception, so the next time you do a trade, you can basically say, hey, we're going to put this $14 million here, and that makes the contracts match. Or we're going to do whatever it takes to make the contract max so you don't have to do the same money for the same money. The problem is he's got a $35 million contract. No one has trade exceptions for $35 million, and they don't have players that are paid that.
3 years, $124 million.
I mean, you'd be taking on a lot. And you'd have to give up quite a bit to get
I think Charlotte
close to that number.
Charlotte and Kemba is something that pops into my mind.
What's is Kimba? Kimba hasn't gotten hit. I mean, if they do a sign and trade,
sign and trade. I don't know what they can offer though with Chris Paul to like pair it and to make it even worth a trade.
But even then, really, if you're the Rockets, I mean, yeah, that's nice because it's a sign and trade and you get Kemba. Well, you'd have to give up a bunch of other stuff too. But even then, you're still saddled with a supermax contract.
Then you got to get rid of. They're going to try and get rid of Capella, and I don't know, and they'll probably try and get another max player.
If they get Kemba, who is on a supermax, they are not. You can't pay more than two people supermax. They can't get another max player.
Get 3 max players, I believe.
Yeah, but the problem is if Kemba did a sign and trade, and he got the supermax,
you just have to pay the luxury tax.
Before. What?
You just have to pay the luxury tax.
No, they wouldn't be able to sign one. So you can't go over the cap room to sign. You can only go over the cap room to sign your own players or someone you get in a trade. Because you have to have.
So they would have to sign someone, then trade for Kemba.
So they would have to trade Chris Paul for Kemba, theoretically, but then they would have the James Harden Supermax and the Kemba Supermax. They wouldn't have any room to move.
They could sign someone first and then trade for Kemba?
Yeah, because you can trade your Bird years. So yeah, they could do that.
Oh, there's so much. Okay. They'd have to get rid of Capella, obviously. They'd have to do a lot. There's a lot they're gonna have to do. They're blowing that team up. That team is gonna be blown up.
So they're gonna keep PJ Tucker because you just have to.
Yeah, it's PJ Tucker and James Harden.
Yeah, you keep James Harden. I mean, you keep Eric Gordon too, right?
I would like to keep Eric Gordon. The move is you got to get rid of Chris Paul. That's the whole thing. You got to get rid of Chris Paul.
Well, if you get rid of Chris Paul, I think the smart thing for them to do, if they can get rid of Chris Paul, I think the problem is if you get rid of him, people are they're gonna want a bunch of other pieces too because it's just a terrible contract. I think the move is trade Austin Rivers because people are high on him right now, so you can get more value for him. If you don't want Clint Capella anymore, trade him because people will trade for him because he's could be a top 5 center talent wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see if you can trade Chris Paul, but I don't know if you can.
Well, they're not. They can't. They need another player. If they keep Chris Paul, they need another superstar. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You gotta. I don't think they can win with Chris Paul. Is the thing.
Not with the way he's playing. No. I mean, if he takes a diminished role, I know it's hard to pay someone $35 million and have him take a diminished role. But if he did do that, I don't know what that role would look like. That could potentially work.
I don't know who they would get that could work. I mean,
well, I like the Kemba idea.
The only other max player that you could do would be Anthony Davis. If that's the trade. You got to trade for the value or whatever. I don't understand the value that trade thing.
So it doesn't matter too much. So the thing is, when you trade, they're supposed to equal up. The salary caps usually have to equal up. Not exactly.
Take on the value.
You have what?
A team with like a lot of cap space couldn't just take on that value.
So if you have a lot of cap space, you can do that. But there's like something. It's not like you can just trade a terrible player for Chris Paul and take on that value. There's it has to be there has to be a close match.
The Hawks taking on Carmelo and just cutting him.
Because Dennis Schroeder. I'm sure you did the Dennis Schroeder and a trade exception. Because Dennis Schroeder was getting paid whatever it was. It doesn't have to match up exactly. It just has to be within a range.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess. I don't understand the trades. I'm sure you understand it more. I'm trying to think of teams that could take them on.
It's very confusing.
I could see an Orlando Magic team that's very brink playoffs. That's all right, maybe we get a veteran point guard, and maybe we can find some way to help our team. I think that would help the Magic, honestly, but that's so much money. You're not going to help yourself.
That would be interesting to see. that would be interesting to see because of them having Markel Fultz.
That's true. I forgot about Fultz. Yeah, well, I mean, Fultz, I don't know.
I mean, he's not playing, so it doesn't matter.
It'd be nice to have him learn under a veteran.
Well, but I wonder what that trade would be. Because let's say theoretically you did trade him. Do you trade for Aaron Gordon? Do you trade for Evan Fournier?
They're not going to. Fournier would be one of the guys they would trade. They're not getting rid of Gordon. Maybe Vucevic.
Yeah, maybe you trade for Vucevic. Vucevic is on an expiring.
Vucevic would be interesting because then you could also deal Capella or something.
Yeah, because he could come in.
He could replace
Although
Capella.
I don't know how much better Vucevic does against the Warriors.
No, I think he'd be a better player for Harden. He can stretch the court more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. But
they also have Valanciunas.
Yeah.
They can do something with Valanciunas. The Magic could be a team that can.
Valanciunas is the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies? Oh, who am I? I'm thinking of some other player for the Magic then.
Timothy Mozgov.
Mozgov. Has Mozgov still got a bad contract?
Mozgov.
Has Mozgov still got a bad contract?
No, he doesn't.
He was the Kent Bazemore, Mozgov, Evan Turner free agency class.
Well, no, he does have a bad contract. He's on a 2-year, $32 million. He's getting $16 million a year. How this is like whenever you would look up like Omar Ashik for that while, and you'd be like, who's paying Omar Ashik $18 million? Like, who did this?
Well, the Bulls did that.
Sense.
The Bulls did that, so.
I know, but it's like that's what he is. And you're like, how did you, like, who signed that?
Maybe the Bulls make the move for Chris Paul.
Yeah. I mean, Markkanen.
They're not going to give up a young guy, but they could give up some Otto Porter, maybe.
If you're the Rockets, you want more than that, I think.
You got to get rid of him. You got to get rid of Chris Paul's thing.
Is Zach LaVine too? Well, I guess
I don't think his contract's
Zach LaVine too shoot happy.
I think they would definitely trade Zach LaVine for. They would include him in the trade if they could.
Zach LaVine's numbers are actually surprisingly close to Devin Booker.
I think and he's coming off an injury though.
The problem is he's a terrible defender.
The Bulls are. I think the Bulls are going to make. They're comfortable drafting Kobe White or Darius Garland.
Yeah, and they'll get. I mean, what is Chris Dunn still their starting point guard?
They're getting Chris Dunn's done. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, so yeah, you get someone else.
I think I would much rather get Darius Garland or Kobe White than obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, than Chris Paul.
I guess it depends on how you feel about that injury.
For LaVine, They don't want to play LaVine at point guard.
No, for Garland.
Oh well, I don't think it's. I think
if you feel like it's going to hamper his explosiveness, then you get Kobe White.
Well, I'm saying I trust both of those point guards over. I'd rather.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'd rather do that move. Obviously.
I mean, I would go Garland too because he's a better shooter and he's not as risky with the ball. He can run it better.
Kobe White's he's a fun player though. I don't know. They're both great point guards. They're both going to be really fun to watch in the league.
I think Kobe White might have serious turnover problems.
I think he'll figure it out.
Turnovers get magnified when you're a starting point guard.
I think he'll figure it out in the league. He's young. He's fun. I love watching Kobe White play. He's just so fast. He plays hard defense. He can shoot it. He can get to the hole. I love watching Kobe White play. He's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then people haven't even seen Garland play. Garland is, oh my god, he could score the lights out as long as that injury doesn't hamper him.
I've seen him play.
I'm saying most people haven't seen him play. Most people haven't seen this kid play.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a shootor. Like, he's one of those where he can shoot. I mean, catch and shoot off the dribble. It doesn't matter. If he's open, he'll shoot.
If he stayed healthy, he may be over John Morant. But Morant's got the assist thing. Garland never had the assist.
And Morant led that team. Well, I guess it depends on how good. I mean, Vanderbilt was actually looking really good with them. They were just so garbage everywhere else. They might have been worse. You know what? Murray State without Morant might have beaten Vanderbilt without Garland.
Yeah, Murray State had some talent. Speaking of college basketball, did you see the Hauser twins? They're splitting up.
No, I didn't see that.
One of them's going to Michigan State. One of them's going to Virginia. Yeah, that's kind of the big college basketball news. Everyone's returning.
To Virginia. I didn't see the other one who went to Michigan State.
Yeah, they're splitting up. Oh, did Diakite come back, or is he going?
Wait, what?
Diakite, is he staying in the draft, or is he going? Do you remember?
No, he's staying, and I'm so upset because I want to see